Hi everybody, welcome back to Cottoverdi. My name's Annette and today I'm going to be sewing my foxgloves. Foxgloves are perennials or biennials, and what we mean by that, in case you don't know, is that a perennial will come back year after year after year, but a biennial we sow this year about this time, in May or June and July, in order to establish the plants so that they then flower for us next year. And I've got a variety of foxgloves to sow today, so I'm sowing quite a few, and some of them are perennials and some of them are biennials. So I'm going to go through the different varieties that I'm sowing today, and I'll put a picture up on the screen and tell you a bit about them very briefly, how tall they grow, what colour they are, and whether you can expect them to come back the following year. And then I'll just show you how I'm sowing them, which is pretty simple and straightforward. And in fact, what we can do is we can just scatter them in the garden if we want to, and I may well scatter some of my saved seeds in the garden at the end of the video. It depends whether it stops raining, because I don't want to complain about the rain because we really need it. The garden really needs the rain. We had a really rainy spring and then we've just had a really hot period and it hasn't rained for weeks. So actually I'm really glad it's raining. It's just not really raining hard enough. It's raining too hard to film outside, not hard enough to water the garden effectively. Never satisfied as gardeners, are we? I really love foxgloves in my garden. They add to the English cottage garden feel that I have going on. I particularly like all the soft colours. There is a really deep purple, which is like your bog standard ordinary foxglove, I suppose, and that's quite nice too. But I really just like having the tall spires, and they come at just the right time, just before the roses bloom. They start blooming and they just add this splash of colour to that particular time of year. Now they should carry on flowering throughout the season if we deadhead them and look after them properly. In all honesty, I have never managed to get mine to flower right through till September because I probably don't deadhead them enough. I start focusing on other plants, but during the spring and early summer, when they're in flower, I think they're statuesque, they're elegant, they add structure, and they just add that, I don't know, that little bit of height before everything else has completely leafed out and bloomed. So that's why I like having foxgloves in my garden, and they are super easy to grow because they will grow in full sun, but they also adapt really well to shade, and in fact grow really well in shade too. So there is a foxglove for every situation. In fact, most foxgloves I've found can grow in any situation. Obviously, if it's in full sun, then just keep it well watered. The other great thing about foxgloves is that I found in my experience, the slugs and snails tend to leave them alone, which is a fantastic trait, particularly after the spring we've had where they have had a voracious appetite. So many reasons to like foxgloves. The one word of caution is that they are highly poisonous. So once you're deadheading them or doing anything with them, in fact tying them up, staking them, do wash your hands afterwards or wear gloves. And I'm not 100% sure, but probably not good for pets either, in that don't allow your pets to eat them. But I mean, I've got 3 cats and they've never been anywhere near the foxgloves. So I don't think they're particularly attractive to my pets. Anyway, let's get on with the different varieties that I'm sowing today. So as I said, I'll put the name and a picture up on the screen to show you what the foxglove is going to look like. I'll just go through the different varieties I'm sowing today. So the first one I'm sowing is called Mertenensis, which is the strawberry foxglove. And that is because it's called strawberry foxglove, I guess, because it is the colour of crushed strawberries, which I think perfectly describes the colour of this particular variety. It grows to 90 centimetres tall, so it's not the tallest foxglove, but it is absolutely beautiful, and that just gorgeous gentle pink colour that we all love in our cottage garden schemes. And the other thing that I have read, or it says on the blurb on my seed packet, is that this one comes true from seed. Now I've not tried that, and I wonder how it would work if you have other foxgloves planted near it, whether it gets cross-pollinated, but that my packet says it comes true from seed. The next one I'm sowing is Digitalis obscura, and the variety is Sunset, and it grows to 120 centimetres tall, which is like 4 foot. So this is quite a tall one. So this is a hardy perennial from Spain. It's quite shrubby apparently, and it's got lovely nodding yellow flowers with deep red veins. The next one I'm sowing is called Digitalis ferruginea gigantea, and this one grows to 150 centimetres, so that's 5 foot. 1.5 meters. And it's a variety of the rusty foxglove. I think it's also called the rusty foxglove. So this has got long, slender spires in a really sort of fashionable colour of sort of yellowy brown. And I think it's going to blend in with some of the other plants that I've got in my garden in the same colour tones. I also think it would look really good in the grass border before I cut back all the grasses, so maybe that's another spot where I'll plant it. The next one I'm growing is really little, and it's called Digitalis lutea, small yellow foxglove. It's literally called small yellow foxglove on the packet, so Digitalis lutea, I think it's quite common. This one only grows to 60 centimetres, so that's about 2 foot tall. So I think it's also called the straw foxglove. Apparently it's quite uncommon. It's got glossy green leaves with small yellow flowers that are all crowded down one side of the spike, the flower spike. So the next varieties I'm sowing are all Digitalis purpurea, and I'll just tell you the names of the varieties and how tall they grow. So the first one I'm sowing is Sutton's apricot, and I think a lot of people will have heard of Sutton's apricot and have it in their gardens. It's an award-winning variety here in the UK, and it grows to 150 centimetres, so 5 foot tall, and it's got lovely soft apricot flowers. The next one I'm sowing is called Pam's Choice, which grows to 120 centimetres tall, so 4 foot, and it's a lovely white flower with a dark purple throat. The next two I'm sowing are both white foxgloves. The first one is called Alba, and it grows to 150 centimetres tall, and apparently this is a rare and much sought after version. It's white flowered, and the next one, the other white flowered one I'm sowing is called Snow Thimble, but this one only grows to 110 centimetres tall, and I think it's got larger flowers than Alba. The next one I'm sowing is Pink Gin. It grows to 120 centimetres tall, so 4 foot, and it's a lovely blush pink that fades to white as the flowers get older, so it gives you this sort of ombre effect along the spike. And then I'm sowing two from the Camelot series, and these are described as a world first in foxglove breeding because they reliably flower in the first year of sowing, and they flower for a longer period of time. So my packets only have 20 seeds in them, so I'm going to sow 8 seeds from each packet now, and then I'll sow the remaining seeds next year. So the first one I'm sowing is Cream, obviously a cream flower, and it's splotched with chocolate and crimson dots. And the second one I'm sowing is called Lavender, which is a soft lilac-y colour with darker splotching. Splotching. And then the last one I'm sowing today is called Hybrida Polka Dot Polly. Polka Dot Polly is going to grow to 1 metre tall, but the reason this one is special is because it's been bred to have an exceptionally long flowering period apparently. And Polka Dot Polly has got lovely, I've not grown this one before, it is described as having rosy apricot flowers tinged with primrose yellow on the inside. So I'm just going to get sowing now. I'm going to sprinkle the seeds on the surface of the compost. I'm not covering them with anything at all because they need light to germinate, and they're going to germinate between 15 and 20 degrees, which is I think between 60 and 70 degrees, something like that, Fahrenheit. So this is perfect weather for it here in the UK. You can see that I'm all snuggled up today. And they should germinate in 14 to 21 days, so 2 to 3 weeks. We should have a showing. And then what I'm going to do with my trays is I'm going to bottom water them because the seeds are really tiny and I don't want to dislodge from where I sprinkled them. So I'm going to bottom water them, and then I'm going to put them outside of my cold frames and just leave them to it, along with all the other biennials that I'm sowing at this time. And then once they've germinated, I will be pricking them out and growing them on. And then in the autumn, in sort of October, November time, probably October, I'm going to plant them out in the garden so they can settle in and root in and get ready for next year. Now with the Camelot series that are supposed to flower reliably the first year, I think I'm actually too late this year to have them flower this year. So we'll see how quickly they grow. So that's an experiment. It doesn't say on the seed packet how late you can sow them, but most of the seed packets say to sow the foxgloves between May and June. It is the 2nd of July today, so I'm scraping in. I don't think I'm too late, to be honest with you. I think we can sow foxgloves in the autumn. You're not guaranteed that they'll flower next year. By sowing them now, in early summer, we give the plants a chance to get big enough so that they will flower next year. really hope you've had some fun with me as I sewed my foxgloves on this pretty drizzly, rainy British summer's day. But hopefully the sun will come back out tomorrow and my garden at least will have had a good water. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then do subscribe to my channel. And if you've enjoyed this video, then do give it a like because that really does help me. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed already. I really appreciate you all joining me and following along in my gardening journey. Thank you so much. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.